Good evening, I'm Bill Altman. Coming up on Channel 11 News, an airliner explodes in midair over Thailand. A missing Federal Way woman was, according to her husband, abducted. And a Japanese volcano has erupted, threatening hundreds of homes with lava. Tony Potts sports and Dave Torsha weather. Next on the 5:30 News.
It's also rumored to heighten your sexual desires.
Nat'l, have a cookie?
Tonight at 11 on Channel 11. You're watching KSTW-TV 11. Now, from the Northwest and the world, all the news this evening. From Channel 11, this is the 5:30 News.
Firefighters have a section of Des Moines cordoned off at this hour. They're working on some sort of hazardous materials situation near 20th and the Kent-Des Moines Road. One person is suffering breathing problems. No word on a source, but they do say it's a home, not a business. We'll have more tonight at 10. A Boeing 767 charter jetliner has exploded and crashed with 213 people on board. The Austrian airliner blew up at a huge fireball and crashed into a remote hillside in Thailand. A reporter for the Bangkok Post says that the plane was en route to Austria when it exploded.
Plane was headed in a northwesterly direction, which is the normal flight path for planes headed from Bangkok towards Europe.
Rescue efforts are underway northwest of Bangkok. So far, 8 bodies have been recovered. No cause has been given for the crash of the Landa jet. The National Transportation Safety Board is digging through the wreckage of a small float plane that crashed in Snohomish County yesterday, killing 1 person. Snohomish County Sheriff spokesman Elliot Woodall says that the plane burst into flames when it crashed in a remote area of the Snohomish River Valley. He says 1 person was found inside what was left of the plane, but the body was too badly burned to tell if the victim was a man or a woman. Woodall says that the pilot apparently did not file a flight plan, but for local flights, it's not a requirement. A Federal Way man is continuing to search for his missing wife. Larry Andrews says it's now been 12 days since his wife, Ki-Ong, disappeared. Andrews met his wife while stationed in Korea in the Air Force. The two were married last winter after returning to the United States. Andrews says he can't think of any reason why Ki-Ong would have left home without a trace.
Concern is I don't feel that she's doing this on her own, personally. There's somebody else involved in it. Whether she's been abducted or whether they've convinced her to leave, I really don't know. But we are just worried sick about her.
The case has been turned over to King County Police. Andrews says so far, no leads have developed. Police are still looking for 2 suspects in 2 separate King County shootings yesterday. 22-year-old Jamie Velasquez was killed in a roadway tunnel beneath SeaTac Airport early yesterday morning in what police suspect was a premeditated murder. They say Velasquez was driving eastbound through the tunnel when someone in another vehicle apparently pulled alongside and fired about 5 shots at his pickup truck. In a separate incident, a Seattle man was shot and killed yesterday in front of the AKA Dance Club on Capitol Hill in Seattle. Police say 27-year-old Maurice Sterling was shot in the chest after he was approached by 2 people in a car and got into an argument with them. Police still don't know the motive for either of those shootings. Jury selection begins Tuesday in the murder trial of William Pawlyk. Pawlyk admits fatally stabbing former television reporter Larry Sturholm and nurse Deborah Swiger. He has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder by reason of temporary insanity. Swiger and Sturholm were killed at Swiger's Issaquah home in the summer of 1989. Prosecutors say Pawlyk had been romantically involved with Swiger, but she broke it off. The Clover Park School District is making a last-minute appeal for voters to approve a levy this Tuesday. A 2-year levy would raise $16 million and would be matched by $4 million of state money. As Jerry Kemp reports, levy boosters say the money is crucial, but not everyone's convinced.
Clover Park school officials say the district desperately needs the infusion of cash which would be provided by the $16 million levy. They say the money would allow restoration of programs which have been cut, upgrading of instruction and supplies, and purchase of new buses and fire alarm systems. If the levy fails...
I think disastrous is a very good word. I think that's exactly what our district will face and all of the children in it, K through 12. Every student in the district will suffer the consequences if the levy is not passed.
Just some of the disastrous consequences, says Trubenbach, would be drastic cuts in programs and staffing levels. Up to 170 of the district's 1,200 staffers would be laid off. Because of that, Trubenbach is hoping voters will respond positively to the levy request, especially seniors. She says many seniors may not be aware of just enacted legislation which increases the current level of property tax exemption for seniors.
For seniors who are in an income bracket of $26,000 or less, many of these people will be exempt from paying for the levy, so that they'll be able to support it and know they're supporting the children of the district without actually having a financial consequence.
When you talk to people here in Lakewood, you find that many of them do support the levy. But you also find that there is opposition.
Well, right now, taxes are very high in this area, and that's one of my concerns. We are paying too much right now for taxes.
Levy supporters understand those feelings, but they're hoping that by Tuesday, they'll have persuaded a majority of overburdened taxpayers that the levy is an investment well worth making. Jerry Kemp, Channel 11 News.
If the levy passes, the yearly cost for someone owning a $100,000 home would be $384. The levy would be paid for in 2 years. Congress tries again to come up with a civil rights bill that the president will accept. That story coming up next. And the royal visit is over. Queen Elizabeth is headed home.
Since 1866, Breyer's Ice Cream has been part of a lot of birthdays. So join us as we celebrate ours. All natural Breyer's Ice Cream. Tremendous taste for 125 years.
You bet we're finicky. At Price Pfister, when we make a faucet, we make it fit for a king. So we start with a foundation of solid brass inside, which makes it so durable, it's flat out terrific. Then we finish it to a fairly well outside and price it to please the frugal in everyone. Price Pfister, the fabulous faucet with a funny name.
When you're a working mother, there's an awful lot you miss. You can't spend as much time with your kids and see all those cute little things they do as they grow up. I mean, that's the whole joy of being a mother, watching them mature into responsible citizens. But when you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't see your kids as much. And you'll miss some moments that may never come again. That's what's especially nice about being an independent Princess House sales consultant. You can earn money for your family without spending as much time away from them. So your bank account isn't the only thing you can watch grow. See, as a Princess House consultant, you make your own schedule, and you can earn $20 an hour selling our line of crystal and giftware at parties in people's homes. For a free, no-obligation information kit about becoming a Princess House consultant, call 1-800-453-8500. 1-800-453-8500. But do it soon, because when you don't spend time with your family, there's no telling what you're missing.
Sears Best Weather Beater, the paint guaranteed for 15 years, is on sale now. Sears Best Quality Satin Finish is on sale, only $17.99. But you gotta hurry, because Sears Best Weather Beater paint sale ends Saturday.
The big issue of the coming week at the nation's capital is likely to be civil rights. The House of Representatives is expected to move on a new civil rights bill that President Bush has vowed to veto if it even hints of imposing quotas. As Carl Rochelle reports, quotas aren't the only obstacle to the bill's passage.
Democrats have placed such a high priority on the civil rights bill that they have designated it House Bill number 1. Liberals say it would strengthen laws against discrimination in hiring and promotions for both women and minorities. But on Thursday, President Bush said he sees little difference between this bill and the civil rights bill he vetoed last year.
I do not want to veto another bill with the name civil rights on it. I take pride in the fact that I personally have had understanding and a good record on civil rights, but I am not going to sign a bill that will foster quotas, directly or indirectly.
Democrat Barney Frank, one of the bill's supporters, denied the bill contains quotas.
It says that quotas are, in fact, not permitted.
To ease business fears, Democrats have proposed a $150,000 limit on how much injured parties could sue for in punitive damages.
That $150,000 is a trick.
What the law is going to say is it's $150,000 or compensatory damages, whichever is higher. So if your compensatory damages are $2–3 million, you get another $2–3 million in punitive damages. The $150,000 is for looks.
Regardless, the $150,000 cap, which would primarily affect women and religious groups, has angered District of Columbia Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton. She supports the bill, but opposes the cap.
That, of course, is discriminating within the text of an anti-discrimination statute, and we ought not allow it.
Some civil rights organizations argue that the bill would benefit middle-class workers, not those minorities who need help the most.
I think what we need to do, and the civil rights leadership has put this as their #1 priority this year, is to look at some of the problems, especially as they address to low-income individuals. This bill has nothing to do with them.
The civil rights bill is expected to come up for debate in the House on Thursday with passage the following week. Supporters seem reasonably sure the Senate will also agree on a civil rights bill, and they're reasonably sure President Bush will veto it. What is still unclear is whether they can muster enough votes to override the president's expected veto. Carl Rochelle, CNN, Washington.
2 Soviet cosmonauts and a British passenger are back on Earth today after 6 months in orbit. The 3 landed in the Southern Republic of Kazakhstan in a Soyuz TM-12 spacecraft. The Soyuz linked up with the space station Mir last Monday with Helen Sherman, the first Briton in space, on board. Queen Elizabeth is finished dazzling American cities for now. She wrapped up her 12-day U.S. visit today in Lexington, Kentucky, where she boarded a British plane for home. The 65-year-old Queen spent her last day touring horse farms, including one where she has 2 mares stabled. Tony's in next with a familiar name in the Indy 500 winner's circle, plus another look at last night's incredible Mariners-Rangers game and Game 4 between the Lakers and Blazers. The Magic's back.
Good setup by Byron Scott, 7.
Well, that's it. It's all gone. I hope you're happy. We're all out of money. Our phone's been disconnected, we're overdrawn, and we won't be sending out any more checks for 37 cents. In fact, we'd appreciate it if some of you wouldn't cash them. We hope you enjoy listening to KISW's Twisted Radio, and we'd love it if you keep listening even though the huge cash prizes are gone. KISW's Twisted Radio, we've given you the shirt off our backs.
American Airlines proudly announces service to London's Heathrow Airport. And with our expanded service from across the U.S., American will become the #1 American airline to London. So come with us to Great Britain's first city on America's #1 airline.
Should this happen to you, call Collision One. Collision One repairs more Northwest vehicles than anyone else, over 12,000 last year. Their highly trained specialists understand that even the slightest damage to unibody construction can throw a car out of alignment. Their powerful alignment and measuring systems repair your car to factory specifications with space-age accuracy. Should this happen to you, call Collision One. Representing Collision One in Bellevue is Kelly's Body Shop. Collision One, they're the only one.
Over the years, the equity in your home has steadily grown into a vast resource. And while most banks will let you tap into that equity, they don't give you much choice in how or when. So rather than leave a very big decision to someone else, come to the bank that gives you the power of control. Introducing Equity Maximizer, only from Security Pacific.
Watch Charles Johnson, weeknights on the 10 o'clock news on Channel 11.
Tony Potts here with what else on this holiday weekend?
Indy. That's right.
Yeah.
Did you know that they ran the first Indy 500 back in 1916 and they went a grand total of 6 miles? And it took them about 2 hours to finish, believe it or not.
Lucky to finish.
Exactly. Today, it's 500 miles and 200-mile-per-hour cars before nearly 500,000 trackside fans. The winner of the 75th Indy 500 is a guy who has won it 3 times before, Rick Mears. Mears has been battling the Andrettis for years. First Mario, and then today, Mario's son, Michael Andretti. Michael grabbed the lead for a while, but Mears overtakes the kid to win his 4th Indy 500, averaging just over 176 miles per hour for 200 laps. Here's your unofficial order of finish. Michael Andretti is in second. Last year's winner, Ari Lyondike, finishes third. Al Unser Jr. grabs the 4th spot, and then it's yet another Andretti. This one, John, finishing 5th. The Winston 600 at Charlotte Speedway, the king, Richard Petty, slams into the wall and goes back in the infield, and he finishes 8th. He actually made it after that. Here's your winner, Davey Allison, rolling in to win. Ken Schrader is second. Dale Earnhardt finishes 3rd. Well, do you get the feeling the Lakers are going to win it all? Magic Johnson will retire to become Pepsi's national spokesman, and Jack Nicholson will be the club's new general manager? Well, just a thought, but it seems anything is possible with Los Angeles these days. Magic and company are taking it to Portland, and the Blazers are reeling. Game 4, a blowout today. Jack having fun as usual. We saw those in Portland on Tuesday. Lakers on the break. This is the way it was all day, folks. Magic to Byron Scott, to James Worthy. Lakers by 9. More of the same. Magic will come up. He'll pass off to Worthy this time. Worthy says, I will return the favor. He sees Byron Scott on the right-hand side, puts it up for Byron. He puts it down. Lakers win easily, 116-95. So your Western Final scoreboard looks like this. Lakers by 21. Lakers lead that series 3-1. In the Eastern Finals, Chicago versus Detroit. Game 4 tomorrow. Bulls lead that series 3-0. Well, a game you soon won't forget between the Mariners and Rangers last night in the Kingdom. The game had everything: home runs, great catches, extra innings, but most importantly of all, it didn't have a Mariners win. Texas took care of that, although Junior was incredible. Bottom of the 3rd, Rangers lead 2-1 until he smacks one just 420 feet. A solo home run, it was 2-1. Junior was not done, though, this time on defense with another gem, going full speed, robbing Ruben Sierra of extra bases. That one will be on the highlight reel. He bruised his heel out of action last night, but he is on a day-to-day basis. M score 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Pete O'Brien drives in Alvin Davis. Davis is out by a mile, but the steamroller just goes over Gino Petralli. Petralli drops the ball. Game. Mariners lead 4-2. Top of 9, though. Another Mariners defensive gem. This one by Jay Buhner. Grabs Rafael Palmeiro's liner in the corner and rifles a rope to Omar Vizquel. Couldn't be more perfect. Incredible. So Palmeiro's out, and that was a good thing because the next batter, Brian Downing, steps up and knocks a solo home run off Mike Jackson to tie the game at 4. If Palmeiro would have been on, it would have been 5-4, and they would have won right then. Now tied at 4 until Texas scores 4 in the 11th. 2 on Gary Pettis' hit here. And the Mariners were not done, though, in this game, providing fans with a lot of excitement. 8-4 Texas, the bottom 11, and one guy on for Jay Buhner. He knocks it out of there, a 2-run home run, but the M's still lose 8-6. So Texas wins its 12th. The game underway, currently no score. Bobby Wood on the mound for the Rangers at the 5:05 game, and Bill Kruger on the mound for the Mariners. We'll have highlights and post-game tonight on the Sunday Sports Extra. In today's action, Brian McRae helps his manager and dad, Hal McRae, win his 2nd game as manager of the Kansas City Royals with this home run here. And the Royals continue their assault on the Twins. This time it's McRae once again. And KC wins the final 5-1. AL scores for you now. Chicago loses to Oakland. California over Toronto 6-2. Detroit gets by Boston 9-4. New York in 11. Cleveland, Milwaukee, that game's just underway. AL West standings as they look right now. We'll update these tonight at 10 o'clock for you. Texas still in 1st, tied with Oakland. Seattle has dropped to 4th, and Kansas City brings up the rear. Well, despite all their spring training, infighting, and bickering, the Pittsburgh Pirates hold the best record in baseball. This afternoon, the Bucks hosting the Philadelphia Phillies at Three Rivers Stadium. There are some Stanley Cup fans in Pittsburgh because the Penguins won last night. In the 4th, the Pirates' Jose Lean bloops one down the right field line. The ball goes over Dale Murphy's head. Dale never much of a glove. 2-run score. Pirates win by 3. Scores for you now. Cincinnati blanks L.A. 3-0. St. Louis just bombs the Mets. San Francisco, an easy time over Atlanta. Cubs over Montreal, 8-6. And Houston, 10 better than San Diego, 13-3. Well, coming into today's final round of the Southwest Bell Colonial, 7 golfers were within 2 strokes of leader Bob Lohr. So you can bet there was one serious shootout on the Fort Worth course this afternoon. Tom Purtzer takes the first shot, and the most important shot, out of the sand, and he putts out of the sand. Don't try this at home. It goes in. A 64 for Purtzer. He wins the Colonial plus $216,000. I want to change my profession one of these days. I guess my handicap's too high. That's it for now, but there are a million things we are cooking up for tonight's Sunday Sports Extra. A full 20 minutes of the best from the sports world. Jesse Jones fills us in. Jess?
Coming up on Sunday Sports Extra, we'll have highlights from the Mariners game, plus post-game interviews. A lot more NBA playoff action, plus some words from the Bulls. Our Super One segment on a youngster from Renton High School. Also, our Miller Sports Extra Trivia Quiz, that and a lot more on Sunday Sports Extra coming up at 10. And also, an update, Texas leads Seattle 1-0. And guess who hit the home run? Brian Downing. I can't believe it.
That's 3 in 2 days for him. Thanks, Jess. We'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock. Okay, that's it. Brian Downing killing the Mariners. He did it when he was with the Angels, and he's doing it with the Texas Rangers. They ought to give him the wrong hotel or something in Seattle.
That's a good
Get
idea.
over here.
Yeah. A Japanese volcano has erupted. We'll show you the pictures coming up next. And meteorologist Dave Torsha looks for sunshine in his Memorial Day forecast. But will he find it?
Loretta Swint is determined to keep her school open. We have to close 6 schools. The commission has other plans. How can they close us down? See how things end up.
A school is not just a building.
Pizza Hut, True Value, the Dairy Farmers of Washington, Seafirst Bank, and Fred Meyer present this TV 11 Great Expectations special. A Matter of Principle. Wednesday at 8 on TV 11.
Over the past 5 years, more people switched to Glidden than any other paint. Now, if that isn't the ultimate test of quality, we don't know what is. Glidden, a better way to paint. Maybe the reason more people switched to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because we've got the color they're looking for.
My brown eyes blue.
Glidden, a better way to paint.
It's a monster.
Everyone is rushing to Waterbed Emporium's gigantic Memorial Weekend sale. A minimum of 20 to 50% off. Complete waterbed starting at $99. This beautiful canopy waterbed only $5.99. This elegant oak wall only $4.99. Satin sheets $19. No payments for 6 months. Free water conditioner for everyone. Minimum 20 to 50% off store-wide. This weekend only. Sale ends Monday, Memorial Day, at all Waterbed Emporium showrooms.
Smoothie, never treat me rough. Never. So smooth and creamy, never get enough. So one little taste, forget about the rest. Mars Milky Way, you're my happiness. The original smoothie, Mars Milky Way, making life a little sweeter.
Now, the great taste of Mars Milky Way bar comes in delicious ice cream snacks and milkshakes.
Dave Torsha's forecast has the AMS seal of approval.
A volcano has erupted in Japan. The long-dormant Mount Unzen is spewing lava again, forcing 3,500 people to flee their homes. A series of eruptions began about 10 days ago. Today, lava flowed within a few hundred yards of one village. One man was scorched by volcanic gas. The mountain, located near Nagasaki, had been quiet for almost 200 years. Quiet here in comparison, and
very quiet. In fact, it was very similar to yesterday's weather, almost a carbon copy. We'll be a little bit better tomorrow, and we're going to explain that in a moment. Let's go at the SeaTac and see what's happening at 5 p.m., where we have mostly cloudy skies. Current temperature at 59, that's the high for the day. Humidity at 58%, the barometer 30.16 and steady, and the winds are southwesterly at 10. This is the way the temperatures looked. Pretty close to normal this morning, 47 the afternoon high. No, it should be 59, so that's 7 degrees below. And of course, those are the records, 37 and 87. And in the rainfall gauge, 1/100th of an inch fell early this morning and late last night. We're right on for the month, as you can see. And on the yearly amount, 2167 keeps us a little over 4 inches ahead on that annual gauge. Well, this is the latest visible satellite imagery. That's where we can see the light bouncing off the clouds, and it gives us a good depiction as if you were in space taking a picture. A lot of clouds up again the crest of the Cascades, and of course they're just mostly cloudy across all of western Washington. You can see filter sunshine in eastern Washington, and as a result, this is the way temperatures look at 5 p.m. and they're coming up here. Low 50s along the coast. Clouds are a little bit thicker. They've had some on-again, off-again drizzle in that area throughout the Sound, though we're mostly in the upper 50s. Again, 59 in the SeaTac area, but the warmest temperature is a 62 at Boeing Field right now. Eastern Washington a little bit better, 58 at Pullman, 60 at Spokane, and of course upper 60s, and of course a couple of nice 70s in the Central Basin, the Tri-Cities area at the Pasco Airport, reporting a very mild 74 at this hour. Another stormy day across the nation with a lot of humid air along the eastern seaboard. Record heat over parts of, well, again, Baltimore reporting in at 93. Beckley, West Virginia, 86. Richmond, 96. So very warm in that area. Another 3, 4, 5 inches of rain have fallen across the lower Mississippi Valley. And Tupelo, Mississippi, in fact, reported 6 inches of rain. So a lot of flash flooding in that area. Severe weather popping up even at this hour over eastern sections of Kansas, Nebraska, even down into parts of northern Oklahoma, where tornado warnings will be up till about 10, 11 o'clock their time, and plenty of sunshine over the southwestern part of the United States. In fact, from about central Oregon all the way down the west coast. This is a better look at what's happening over the west. A frontal boundary over the Rockies moving eastward, and of course that has no effect on our weather, except it's allowing air to move from higher pressure to the lower pressure, and that's bringing in the marine air. It just stayed on the Washington coast, but it gave way and backed off along the Oregon and California coast, and of course they had a little more sunshine than we did. These are current temperatures now, a very warm, sizzling century mark at Phoenix, 90 at Las Vegas, 63 at Los Angeles, 59 in the Bay Area, 64 at Reno, and this is Coeur d'Alene, very cool there, 58 at Portland, and 57 at Vancouver, BC. As we take a wider look across the Pacific, the only frontal boundary is one that's well out, coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. That will remain stationary for a couple of days until this system here just off the horizon comes in. They'll join up, and they'll come our way about Wednesday, and we're going to get back into rain, unfortunately, Thursday. But till that time, morning clouds giving away a little quicker each day, and we're going to have a rather pleasant week, unfortunately, after the Memorial Weekend ends. So this is the way we're going to sum this up here. In fact, first we'll put this into motion. You can see some circulation here over the state. An upper level disturbance went by, and that joined up with the surface front that's over the Rockies right now. So in the next 24 hours in our near-term forecasting, a lot of 40s tonight because we'll have a considerable cloudiness, 35 in the Cascades with a 7,000-foot freezing level. Eastern Washington, 30s to near 40. Spokane had a record low 37 this morning. Eastern Washington will rebound quite nicely tomorrow. Spokane 65, everybody else upper 60s and 70s with plenty of sunshine. Western Washington, morning clouds, afternoon sun, and around the Sound, 63 or 64. The extended forecast, let's take a look at that right now. And once again, tomorrow, morning clouds, afternoon sun, Tuesday and Wednesday, really nice days. And then, Bill, Thursday, we increased the clouds and back into rain. So the timing was really bad on the Memorial Day weekend. Sorry.
Just missed it by that much.
Just missed it by that much. We'll talk to you later.
Did you play the lotto last night?
I did and lost.
Yeah, everybody did. But if you don't, if you don't normally play, you might want to this week. The jackpot will jump to $8 million Wednesday because no one picked all 6 numbers last night. Here are last night's numbers: 2, 22, 26, 29, 41, and 46. And you still lost. Finally tonight, there's a not too good of a secret about where President Bush is going to be tomorrow. We almost always know where he is. For instance, today, the president went fishing. But in an unusual move, the White House has refused to reveal what the president is doing tomorrow. On the other hand, it's also known that Yale University traditionally never reveals who their commencement speaker is until the day of graduation, which is tomorrow. And President Bush is a graduate of Yale. Some secret, ain't Tony?
Mm-hmm. Government institutions, there you go. Can't keep a secret, can they? Even when they try. Return to the World League of American Football for us. That's right, the increasingly popular helmet cam. San Antonio, New York, New Jersey. This is how it looks. Now this is how it sounds. Oh, maybe we need a weather cam, Dave.
Well, Tony, we're getting tired of saying the same old thing, morning low clouds, but that's the situation. Marine air coming our way, and it's the last of the weekend because it's the Memorial Weekend. Low clouds in the morning, 40s comfortable, southwesterly winds, and still a 5:20 sunrise. A lot of clouds, Bill, not much sun around.
Well, that's our news for now. We hope you watch tonight at 10 for more news, weather, and the Sunday Sports Extra. Good night.
One of these objects a little extra high with the double spin. While it's in the air,